For the next few minutes, I'll be discussing cash flow, specifically the cash flow statement. But first, we need to ask, what is cash flow? Well, what is cash flow? Cash flow is the money that is moving in and out of a business in a specific period of time. While it seems that cash flow only goes one way, out of the business, it does flow both ways. Today, we'll also look at some examples of the ins and outs of cash flow. So, what do you think of when you think of cash flow? Do you think cash flow is as scary as this tiger about to attack me? Or intimidating like the Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Vader? Ah, maybe you think cash flow is like saving the galaxy with Rey. Oh, it's not any of those? Well, we gotta come up with something, Alex. Alex, what do you think about the lines at Disneyland? What do you mean? You know what? Stand up. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Grab your stuff. Get out. I don't care what Alex says. Do you think of the flow of cash as slow and congested, like this line to Peter Pan? Or maybe you think of the cash flow as fast and fluid. Well, cash flow can be any of these. It all just depends on the type of business. Now it's time to look at some examples of cash flow around the park. Now that you know what cash flow is, you're going to try to identify some things in the following pictures that might affect cash flow. In this first picture, you might be wondering, they're just trash cans. What do they have to do with anything? Well, someone has to take the trash out. Now for some more obvious examples. In this picture, this person is buying some popcorn. This would be an example of cash inflow. Now what about the grooming of these plants? Who does that? Well, the workers at Disney, of course. This is an example of cash outflow. In this last picture, we can see that two examples of cash outflow and an example of cash inflow. Can you see them? The two examples of cash outflow would be one, the operators of It's a Small World, and two, the actual operating expense of the ride. The example of inflow would be the customers. Every single one of these people bought a ticket into Disneyland to be here. It's time to get into the nitty-gritty and talk about the statement of cash flows. The statement of cash flows is one of the main financial statements. The other statements are the balance sheet, income statement, and statement of stockholders' equity. The cash flow statement reports the cash generated and used during the time interval specified. The cash flow statement also organizes and reports the cash generated and used in the following categories. Operating activities, which converts items reported on the income statement from the accrual basis of accounting to cash. Investing activities, which reports the purchase and sale of long-term investments and property, plant, and equipment, as well as financing activities, which report the issuance and repurchase of the company's owned bonds and stock and the payment of dividends. So what can the statement of cash flows tell us? Well, here are a few ways the statement of cash flows is used. The cash from operating activities is compared to the company's net income. If cash from operating activities is greater than net income, the company's net income or earnings are said to be of a high quality. If the cash from operating activities is less than net income, a flag is raised as to why the reported net income is not turning into cash. Some investors believe that cash is king. The cash flow statement identifies that the cash is flowing in and out of the company. If a company is consistently generating more cash than it is using, the company will be able to increase its dividend, buy back stock, pay debts, or acquire another company, all of which are perceived to be good for stockholder value. That's all for today, folks. But before you go, I would just like to give a huge shout out to my accounting instructor for paving the way for me to get ninth in the Business Professionals of America national competition this last week in Anaheim, California, as well as a huge thank you to Mrs. Foss for teaching personal financial management so that I could pass my certification exam. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a very, very nice day.